Hi, thank you for joining us on our transit through Bardsey Sound. Bardsey Sound's got a bit of a reputation. This is Bardsey Sound here, between the island and the mainland. Most of the time while travelling through here, you make use of the anchorage in Aberdaron. That's if you're travelling north. If you're travelling south, you normally make use of the anchorage in Porth, Dinllaen. Anyway, back to travelling north. As I entered the Sound, one of the things I'm doing is watching out for lobster pots because they seem to be everywhere, while staying tight on the mainland because I'm using, again, another back eddy to take me through. The back eddy stream's 2 hours earlier than the tide turns in the Sound, and it runs all the way up to and about the western point. I've gone on the outside of Carrickdale just to see how different the tidal is out here, and there's 2 knots against me here, where on the other side of it there's 2 knots with you. Also, these are very settled conditions, and in less settled conditions it can be a lot rougher this side of Carrickdale. The reason I normally use the correct times going north and not south are because if you face, once you get round the corner, if you face the ebb, you seem to not go anywhere for 4 or 5 hours, so it's not worth doing anything other. This is the route the back eddy takes, around here, through here, round here, round there, along here, and then it comes to a stop here. And this starts about 2 hours before slack water. So when's slack water then? Well, find out what time high water is at Dover. Once you've got Dover's high water, if you add 5 hours to it, that's slack water in the Sound. If we were travelling the other way, going south, it would be Dover minus 1 hour for slack water in the Sound. In rougher conditions, there can be a tide rip just as you're getting out of the Sound, so you can be doing 6.5 knots and go straight down to 3. And you'll have to punch the tide along the Clin until it starts cheering back up again and going your way. But at least you can carry that tide all the way up the Clin Peninsula. There is a little bit of a back eddy going south as well that you can take, which is a little bit earlier, and that might carry you some way through. But I always tend to just go with the flow going south and only go in fine conditions. So I'm sort of set off from Porth to Clyne at high water, and then I take the ebb down and straight the way through. Now you go through like Billio, going in the middle you can actually end up stuck in a trough for half an hour or so. So stay close to Carrickdale and you'll be fine getting thrown through that way, but only in conditions up to about a force 4 and not normally in wind over tide conditions. If in any doubt, use the correct times and correct slack water. Even an exercise class on the foredeck. Well, there's only a couple of hours to shoot as you're coming up the coast. After passing the little Rockmain Melt on the way up, then there's a long run of headland, and all the way at the end of that headland is Porth Dinllaen. It's a big, long headline. It just goes on and on. But where it stops, that's where the moorings are going to be, or the anchorage is going to be, just there at the very tip. Well, we've motor sailed up here just to get up here on time. It's something to 9 now, and I'd like to get in for about 9 o'clock to get the anchor down and settle before it goes dark. You can tell when you're here because of that little funny white building on top. It's a lookout station of some type with a light, I think. Make sure you go around that mark because the rocks crop out. You can see just how big that lookout tower is now and how conspicuous it is. You can see it for miles really when you're coming. My view is this anchorage is really good if it's only got south in the wind. If there's north in it, it's not so good, but unless it's light airs north. But it really is an excellent stepping stone going north or south down the Clin or up the Clin Peninsula. And there's a cracking pub halfway up the hill where those white houses are if you want to get out and get something to eat. I think there's a couple of visitors' moorings here and there's a lot of private moorings here. But it's good holding for your anchor, so pick a nice spot away from anything dubious and drop your hook. This is where we normally choose to anchor about here. Note all the little rocks dotted about and the visitors' buoys up there. More of an Evans this way, where the pub is and the likes. Go ashore on your dinghy and land by those houses, and just on the right hand side of them up there There's a very short walk to the pub halfway up the hill, and then if you go into the town there's pizza places and spa and stuff like that. So you can easily spend a few days here in nice weather or strong southerlies. The harbour stretches on for quite a bit. This boat belongs to Mike and Donna. Hi Mike and Donna. They just started their voyage. They're on the way to Scotland. Their home port's Milford Haven. So fair winds to yous. Hope you have a good one. And thanks everyone for watching and your support. Until next time, bon voyage.